All right, everyone, we're back on the spotlight to talk about the Arsenal game. Couldn't do a preview. I've been too busy, but we are here now to discuss the result and the outcome of it. And what can I say?
All right, everyone, we're back on the spotlight.
I'm talking to myself, making sure the stream's working, but here we go. The game is probably one of the best performances we've had in a while. To start off with, Maguire was dropped. Whether it was because of what's happened in the week with his bomb threat or whether Ranić has finally come round to the realisation that he just needs to drop him. Either way, it didn't really make a difference because at the back, we were still absolutely horrendous. I mean, I know we played some decent football, had some chances. We were getting up the pitch, getting at him a bit, but defensively, again, we are diabolical. 3 minutes into that game, you've got a cross coming into the box and everyone's blaming Telles for it. For me, I've just watched it again on Match of the Day this morning. Varane swings his foot at it. Telles must think that Varane's easy going to get to that, and he don't. And then Telles has got to react to something that Varane's missed, and he misses it as well. Then it comes out, he's bent in, De Gea makes a decent save, and Dalot's on his heels, and that Tavares gets in front of him. So there, that goal for me isn't just Telles' fault. That's three of the back four not doing their job in the first 3 minutes of the game, which is exactly what happened against Liverpool. It's just lack of concentration, lack of being ready for the game. It's like they've not got their heads in the right place to start the game. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's like they've been playing around at the park, booting the ball at the goal for 10 minutes before kick-off, and they've not got in their headspace properly to start, and then they're 1-0 down again within 5 minutes. Just pathetic. Honestly, and Varane has got some part to play in that, because he should have cleared the corner in the first place, and then Telles has to react. And yes, Telles was garbage, but still, it can't. That's not all on Telles, that goal for me. There's three of the four back of the back line they're not woke up to play the game yet. And then what do we go on to? The second goal we'll get into. So for me, the second goal, ball's knocked in over the top. Telles goes in, little nudge, falls down, he's offside. He didn't look offside, but according to VAR, he was. Was it a penalty? Wasn't it? All I'll say about if that's a penalty, then the one on Alanga's a penalty where he's pulling him back. The handball where he's crawling along the floor and scoops the ball back is a penalty. I've got no problem about him giving that penalty to Arsenal, even though I think it's soft, if they are going to be consistent in their decisions, because I know we got the penalty from Bruno, but that was a penalty. His hand's above everyone's head. There's nothing to debate about that, but it's a little nudge from Telles. It happens all over the pitch all the time. You've got Elanga in front of, I'm not sure who it was that Tavares again, and he's got hold of his shoulder dragging him back. It's not a pen. Was it that Cedric crawling along the floor, scoops the ball out of the box with his hand? I mean, what are the referees doing with VAR? I don't get it. Apparently they just said on Match of the Day, that one where he's crawling on the floor and scoops it with his hand, that because he's on the floor on all fours, that he can't get his hand out the way. He clearly scoops the ball backwards. It's clearly an intentional move, because he knows he's in big trouble on the floor. How can they not see it? I do not get it whatsoever. And the problem with this game is, again, we've lost 3-1. We probably didn't deserve to lose, even though the highlights I've just seen of that game, Arsenal seem to have the most of the better chances. I mean, Dalot hit the bar from a speculative effort from miles out, so would you call that a chance? Not really. He's just had a go. Ramsdale made a great save at the near post off Delo again. But I mean, at least we've had a go today, I guess. But there was a statistic, and I think the stats were fairly even in this game. Let me have a look. United Arsenal stats here for both teams. I mean, Arsenal 7 shots on target, us 5, 14 shots each. Arsenal made over 100 passes more than us, and that's the stat I wanted to come to, because I heard that El Neni and Xhaka had 70-ish passes each in the game. Each, that's so 140 passes between them. They're two centre midfielders. Apparently Matic and McTominay barely had 70 between them. And there is your problem at Man United. We cannot get our two midfielders who were supposed to dictate the game on the ball enough. And when they are on the ball, they cannot pick the passes, dictate the game, control the pace, because they're not good enough. And again, we can talk about how bad the defence is, but I know for a fact from playing football a lot that if you cannot get hold of the ball in midfield and up front and hold it, keep possession, keep pressing your oppositions back, that it is very difficult to defend when you're constantly on the back foot. And this is where I'll give the defence a bit of a break. I know we're all at them all the time, but I know for a fact that when you are under the cosh or under pressure or you've got no out ball for 90 minutes, it becomes extremely difficult to not give chances away. And McTominay, Fred, Matic, Bruno, Pogba, whoever's in that midfield needs to take more responsibility and more control of the ball and learn to dictate. For me, if we were going into next year, I would probably... We're going to get Donny back. Can't wait to get Donny back. At least he's going to play some possession football. I'd buy 2 new midfielders. We need a centre-back and 2 new midfielders, in my opinion. People are saying we need full-backs. We probably do need full-backs. We need a striker. But we need to make the spine, the middle, the centre-backs and the centre-mid solid. Even if all they do is make them hard to beat, so you can't get through them. Because at the minute, with the shite going forward, and I've just watched the highlights again. So many times one pass goes through both midfielders and they just turn and they're in. And like I said, it's extremely difficult to constantly be defending that. There's nothing there in that midfield. They may as well not be playing. Honestly, it is pathetic. But again, what are we going to do with a 30-odd-year-old Matic who's got no legs, who's our best midfielder? McTominay, who everyone and every manager and every coach seems to think is this God's gift in the Man United youth setup, but apart from when he plays Leeds, because Leeds are absolutely shite and wide open, he doesn't look like he can play football. Fred, a lot of energy, determination, obviously wants to play, but on the ball, he's just not good enough, is he? Let's face it. And who else we got? Bruno. Bruno can't seem to kick a ball properly at the minute. And again, the press is all over the place, and this is why the one pass goes through the midfield. You've got none of the forwards pressing. Again, you've got Bruno trying to go on his own. Gap in midfield again. One ball through Bruno, through the 3 forwards, into midfield, and again, we're under pressure. It has to stop. Bruno cannot be the one starting the press. It has to come from the front. And until he learns that, I've said it about 50 times on this channel now, till Bruno stops learning to press, we will get done in the midfield with 1 or 2 passes. And like I said, you just can't carry on the way this is going. Even with a better performance today, we've conceded 3 goals. Even if the VAR decisions go our way, it's 3-3. So You can moan at VAR all you like. We still wouldn't have won. Bruno, I don't know why he's taking the penalty. When Ronaldo first come back, I was saying that Bruno should take the penalties. He'd taken them for the year before, scored loads of them. He's a class penalty taker. But on his current form at the minute, he's given the captaincy today without Maguire. Ronaldo's just come back from his kid dying to play for the shirt. The greatest player of all time. Without doubt, in my opinion, he is. Give him the armband and let him take the pen. He's already scored one. Gets in front of his man, good finish. Good cross from Matic. But I have no problem with Bruno taking the penalties, to be honest. But on his current form, for me, he shouldn't have been taking this one in such a massive moment to get back in the game as well. I think if it goes to 2-2, it's a different game. We've got the front foot then. Missing the penalty completely turned the tide of the game and we never looked like winning. Rashford and Lingard come on again. I mean, just useless. Honestly, pathetic. What's the point? Just bring someone else on at this point. I don't know who was on the bench, but who was on the bench instead of them two? Let me have a look. Garnacho, Mata, Bissaka, Maguire, Jones, Bass, about 100 defenders. But just bring bloody Mata and Garnacho on. Just, why are you bringing Lingard on? I just don't get it. Like, I get, to some extent, Rashford, he's still part of the squad. He don't want to leave. His form's horrendous. His mindset's all over. But at least he's got some pace. And I think he does want to play for the shirt. Lingard's all over the place. Yesterday, apart from all his West Ham crap, yesterday he's coming out leaking and telling Paul Scholes that the dressing room's a disaster. I mean, that's just confirmation of something we've known for the last 6 months or a year. That the dressing room's all over the place. Someone needs to take control of it. And hopefully that's something Ten Hag can do. That if he sees some people in that dressing room who are upsetting the apple cart, causing problems, that he'll out them. They just won't be in the squad. They'll be in the under 23s. They'll be sold in the next window. Because for too long in that dressing room, players have been allowed to get away with leaks, get away with doing what they want, get away with not playing the way the manager wants to play. And we've seen that with Ranić. He come in, he tried to change the philosophy of the team, and the players did not want to do it. They fell back into, let's play the way Ollie told us to play, where we all just sit on our own 18-yard box and we hoof it to Rashford and we hope he scores. But it's not going to happen, is it? Because Rashford's on the worst form of his life. And you're not listening to the manager. The club, the players have given Ranić no options whatsoever to succeed in this job. And I'm glad he's come out and he's been honest about the dressing room and what is going on, because hopefully he takes that upstairs and he tells Murtagh, Fletcher, Arnold and anyone else who comes in, Ten Hag and all these players, who are the problems in that dressing room and who doesn't want to work for the team. And I'm ranting again after an half-decent performance, but like I said, they've still lost 3-1. Matic and McTominay have had half the touches of Arsenal's midfield. The defence is a calamity again. It's never ending. When I didn't see us losing this game, I thought it'd be 1-1. I mean, what we got Chelsea next. Are you having a laugh? We're going to get hammered. Chelsea at home, lost. Brentford got a result out of Tottenham again last night. Brentford with Eriksen back and Tony back. They look a different team. Tony he'll bully Maguire and Lindelof all day. And Eriksen he's going to run that midfield 100%. He's different class to anyone we have at the minute, Eriksen. He was class versus Tottenham yesterday. Then we've got Brighton again, another team who went through bad form. They're back on it again. So that's not an easy game. We've got Palace with Vieira in charge. And we know Palace are a tough team to beat this season. I don't see us. I mean, tell me in the comments, how many points do you think we're going to get out of Chelsea, Brentford, Brighton and Palace? On a normal season, you'd probably say 9. Because we'd probably lose to Chelsea or either way, even if we were playing decent or draw. So 8 or 9. Brentford, Brighton, Palace, you'd expect United to beat. I think we'll get, I think I said 4 points last week. I'll say 4 points again. We'll beat, well, Brighton's away, to be fair. We'll probably beat one of them other 3 and draw 1. Get another 4 points from these 4 games. And I think all we can do now is just try and stay a bit positive about Ten Hag coming in. Try not to get caught up in all the media fanfare. This budget, that budget, we're getting him, them, the other. Until Ten Hag and his people get here and people are through the door, I won't listen to too much unless it's coming from someone like Romano or that lot. If you see in the paper that we're going to be getting Rice, I won't bother. Until it's actually out there with a reputable journalist or someone who speaks sense and not just after clickbait, I won't even bother reading into it. Because we could get anyone at this point. We could get absolutely anyone. I know we're heavily linked to Phillips. For me, I don't want Calvin Phillips. Yeah, he's all right. He runs around a lot. He's like a bit of a better Fred, isn't he, really? Sits at the back 2 with Declan Rice for England. 5 at the back. 7 at the back for England versus Andorra. Of course he's going to look good. And not only that, we're too prone to buying injury-prone players, and he has not played much for Leeds this year either. Nobody's saying that. You're paying 55 million quid for a player who's playing for a team who are practically going to get relegated, and he plays for England in centre mid with one of the best centre mids in the world, Declan Rice. I'd be very, very wary about paying over 50 million quid for Phillips. If you got him for 30, then yeah. But if you're paying 50 for him, I'd be very sceptical about that. Go and find someone else from anywhere that's a lot less money and a lot less of a risk. And he ain't from Leeds, because if it goes wrong from Leeds and he's cost 50 million quid, he is going to get hammered. It'd be another £50 million Fred. Because he's tenacious, he'll win the ball back and that, but he's not a forward playing player, is he? He's just pure energy in midfield, and maybe he would work under Ten Hag. But will he work under Ten Hag in year 1? Maybe in year 2 or 3 when we've got a full squad and you need him for more legs in there. But for now, no for me on that. Is there any other news coming out this morning? Let's have a quick look. So there's a bleeding talking about Ericsson here. They say trying to get Ericsson. No chance. You stupid. Wolves star eyeing up Europe. Oh, that's Wolves. Wolves are only a couple of points behind us as well. You've got to look at Wolves. Ten Hag selects new leader of the Man United project in a bitter blow to Harry Maguire. Incoming Man United boss Eric Ten Hag has reportedly identified Barcelona midfielder Frankie de Jong as one of his top targets. But again, of course we want Frankie de Jong, but until he walks through the door, I think de Jong was from Ajax in the first place, wasn't he? We just every half-decent Ajax player who's now apparently coming to Man United. I doubt it. We'll be having De Jong, De Ligt, Anthony, Timber, the lot. So yeah, anyway, I've got to go play footy again. in a minute. So I am going to leave it here and I'll see you on the next